and its speed is 22 kilometer per hour. Okay. Now let's carry on with this question. The table also shows the speed of each type of boat, which we already explored here, which is how far each boat goes in 1 hour. Look at the table and calculate. So here we have to calculate three important things. The first thing is about how much fish in all will each type of boat bring in 7 trips. So we need to calculate for 7 trips for all the boat, for each type of boat. Okay, so let's do it together. Let's calculate for long boat first. Okay, in one single trip, log boat catches 20 kilogram of fish, but we have to calculate for 7 trips. Okay, so for calculating 7 trip, we will be performing which operation? It is going to be multiplication. Okay, so how we are going to calculate? We will be multiplying 20, which is the number of fish in one trip, and we'll be multiplying this 20 with the number of trips. How many trips it is given here? It is 7 trips. So how we can perform multiplication? By multiplying 20 with 7, and on multiplying 20 with 7 we get 140. So in 7 trip, log boat catches a total of 140 kilogram of fish. So we should not forget to mention its unit as well. Here kilogram is representing its unit, and it is very important to mention the unit. Okay. Similarly, let's calculate for long tail boat. Okay. In one single trip, long tail boat catches 600 kilogram of fish, and we have to calculate for the 7 trips. So let's do it here. So here we will be multiplying 600 by the total number of trips, which is 7. So 600 times 7, and it will be equals to 4200, and at the very end we should be writing kilogram as well, which is representing its unit. So long tail boat catches 4200 kilogram of fish in 7 trips. Now let's calculate for motorboat. So here also we will be applying the concept of multiplication. So here in one single trip it catches how much? 800 kilogram, but we have to calculate for 7 trips, therefore we will be multiplying it by 7. So 800 times 7 will gives us 500, and it is going to be 5600. Okay, so motorboat catches a total of 5600 kilogram of fish. Okay, now the last one, which is for machine boat. So machine boat in one single trip catches how much? It is 6000 kilogram of fish, but we have to calculate for 7 trips. So therefore we will be multiplying 6000 by 7, and on multiplying it we get 42,000 kilogram of fish. Here we should be writing unit as well. Okay, so we have successfully calculated the total amount of fish for all the 7 trips for each boat. Okay, so let's put a tick on question A, which we have successfully completed. Now let's solve for question B. Question B says about how far can a motorboat go in 6 hours? So here we have to calculate its distance, how much motorboat is covering total distance in 6 hours. So we already know that in 1 hour a motorboat covers how much? 20 kilometer. Okay. So here, but we have to calculate for motorboat. Okay. And for how many hours? It is for 6 hours. Okay. So for here also we will be applying the concept of multiplication. So let's do it here. Okay. So when it comes to its distance for motorboat, for motorboat we need to calculate for 6 hours. So in 1 hour it covers 20 kilometer, but we have to calculate for 6 first. So 20 times 6, and on multiplying it we get how much? We will get 120 kilometer. So in 6 hour motorboat covers 120 kilometer. Suppose if we have to calculate for machine boat. Suppose the question would have said, let's calculate for machine boat in 6 hours. So here also we will be performing the concept of multiplication. For machine boat, here we will be multiplying 22, which is the amount of distance which machine boat is covering in 1 hour, which is 22 kilometer. So 22 kilometer, we'll be multiplying it by 6 because we have to calculate for 6 hours. So 22 times 6 will gives us 132 kilometers. Okay. In this way, we can solve for long boat as well as long tail boat. But here the question is for motor boat, which we have calculated here for motor boat, which is 20 times 6. So here our answer would be 120 kilometer. Okay. Now let's solve the last one, part C. If a long tail boat has to travel 60 kilometer hour, how long will it take? So we already know that for a long tail boat, which is right here, for a long tail boat, which is right here, in 1 hour it covers 12 kilometer. Let's write it here. In 1 hour it covers 12 kilometer. Here we need to calculate how much time it will take for a long tail boat to cover 60 kilometer. Let's consider it takes some amount of x hour. Okay, we don't know, so let's consider it to be as x, and we know that it covers how much? 60 kilometer in some x hours. So here we have to calculate the value of x. So here we can solve this question by the help of cross multiplication. Cross multiplication, which we have learned in our last class. So let me tell you how we are going to perform the cross multiplication. We will be multiplying this 6 with this 1 and this x with this 12. So on doing so, we get how much? 60 times 1 equals to x times 22. here it will be x times 12. X times 12. Okay, so we get how much? Our calculation would become somewhat like this: 60 equals to 12x. So here we need to calculate the value of x. So now our equation becomes, we can write our equation in this way as well: 12x equals to 60. And if we have to calculate the value of x, we will be dividing 60 by 12. And on doing so, we will get how much? We get x equals to 5. So here our final answer would be 5 hours. So we can say that for long tail boat, it will take 5 hours to cover a distance of 60 kilometer. Okay, in this way we can calculate such given questions. So here what we did, we have applied the concept of cross multiplication. After doing so, we calculated the value of x. Okay, so we have successfully completed our question C as well. Now let's move towards our next slide. And here comes our some big numbers. And in this topic, we are going to learn about bigger numbers. Okay, so let's do it together. Here it is given that in class 4th math magic you heard of number lakh. This term is written lakh, which is equals to 100,000. You had read that there are about 1 lakh bricks kilns in our country where bricks are made. What other things you have heard? What other things you have heard of in lakhs? There are lots of things which we have heard in lakhs. For example, like we can say cost of a bus, or we can say cost of a truck, which are generally in lakhs. For example, suppose if we have to suppose that the cost of a truck is 25 lakhs. So how are we going to write it? We are going to write it in this way. Let's write it 25. This is 25. Okay. If we write 250, we are going to add 10. For 2500, we are going to add one more 0. For 25,000, we are going to add one more 0. For 2,50,000, there's going to be one more 0. And for 25 lakh, there's going to be another 0. So this is our 25 lakhs. And when it comes to number of zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are how many zeros? 5 zeros in 25 lakh. Okay. Unit, tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh. Okay. And when it comes to comma, we should not forget to insert the comma as well. Okay. So let's insert the comma as well. If we have to insert the comma, one comma would go right here, another comma would go right here. Okay. So we can say that the cost of truck is 25 lakh, in which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Okay. Another thing which we can say that which we have heard in lakhs is like we can say number of population. Okay. We can say population in town. Let's say that there is a town in which the population is around 35 lakhs. We can write 35 lakhs in same way as we have written the cost of a truck. So if we have to write 35 lakhs, so this is our 35 lakhs. Okay. Now let's see what other question is saying. Write the number 1000. Okay. Now write 100,000. So how many zeros are there in the number 1 lakh? Easy, isn't it? So here we have to write 100,000. First let's write 100. Okay. So let's write 100 here. But here it says 100,000. So when it comes to 1000, let's see how do we write 1000. This is our 1000. When it comes to 100,000, so it means that after writing 100, we need to write 1000 as well. So how many zeros are there in 1000? There are a total of 3 zeros. So we will be writing 3 zeros after writing 100. So in this way we can write 100,000. Okay. Okay. And 100,000 is equivalent to 1 lakh. Okay. So here in this question we have learned that how many zeros are there in lakhs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here also how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 zeros are there in 100,000. So we can say that 100,000 is equivalent to 1 lakh. Okay. Now let's see what other question is saying. The next one. There are about 2 lakhs boats in our country. Okay. Half of them are without a motor. Okay. What is the number of boats with a motor? Write it. So let's see what this first statement is saying. The first statement is saying that there are a total of 2 lakhs boat. Okay. When it comes to half of them, so here the term half means divide, because half is relating to division operation. So if we have to calculate what is the number of boats with a motor, so let's do this calculation right here. First let's try 2 lakh. So there is going to be 5 zeros. 5 zeros right here. There are a total of 2 lakhs. Half of them are with motorboat and half of them without a motorboat. So half of 2 lakh is going to be 1 lakh. And how we just figured out? We have just divided it by 2. On dividing 2 lakhs by 2, we get 1 lakh. So it means that 1 lakh of boats are with motor and another 1 lakh of boat is without motor. Okay, so the answer for this third question is going to be 3 lakh. Oh, sorry, 1 lakh. Now, let's try to solve the last one. The question fourth. So here it is given about 1/4 of the boats with a motor are big machine boats. How many thousand machine boats are there? Come on, try to do it without writing down. We can solve this question in our mind as well. Here it says 1/4 of the motorboats with a motor are big machine boats. So how many total number of boats are with motor? It is, here we have just figured out, it is 1 lakh. But now here it says 1/4 of the boats are big machine boats. So here we need to calculate how many boats are there. How many of them are big machine boats. So when we say 1/4, So it means that here also we need to perform division operation, and this time we will be dividing it by 4, because 1/4 means we need to divide it by 4. The another word for 1/4 is a quarter. Okay, so if we perform division, and in this division we are going to divide total number of motorboats, which is how much? It is 1 lakh. So therefore we will be dividing 1 lakh by 4, and on dividing 1 lakh by 4 we get how much? Our answer is going to be 25,000. Okay, so here our final answer would be 25,000, which is representing the number of motorboat. Okay, and it comes in category of big machine boats. Okay, so we have successfully completed the last one as well. Now let's explore the next thing. Here it says, we might wonder about the number of people whose lives are related to fish. In all, there are about 100 lakh fish workers who catch fish, clean and sell them, make and repair nets and boats, etc. We also have a name for this big number, and here it is 100 lakh, which is also called a crore. Have you heard about this term crore? Okay, what was the number used for? 1 crore is a pretty big number. Have you? And I think for sure you must have heard about this term crore. And we can use such number like in calculating population of a country. Okay, let's write 1 crore together here. Okay, let's start from 1. This is 1. If this is 10, this is 100, this is 1000, this is 10,000, this is 1 lakh, this is 10 lakh. After 10 lakh it will be crore. Okay, so let's calculate how many zeros are there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are a total of 7 zeros in a crore. Okay, let's write the comma as well. Okay, it is very important to insert the comma while writing bigger number. This is because it becomes easier for us to identifying and reading the number. So after writing 1, we are going to insert 2 zeros, and after 2 zeros again we will be inserting 2 zeros, and then again we will insert comma, and finally 3 zeros after that. So this is our number crore. Okay, so the next part says, try writing the number 1 crore, which we already did. Don't get lost in all the zeros, and I think this number of zeros must be clear to you. There are a total of 7 zeros in crore, so we should not get confused between lakh and crore. In 1 lakh there was 5 zeros, but in 1 crore there are a total of 7 zeros. Okay, when it comes to 10 lakh, In 10 lakh, there for sure there would be 6 zeros. So do not get confused between number of zeros in lakh, 10 lakh and crore. Okay. Now let's move towards the next topic. Our next topic is the fish market. Okay. Have you been to a fish market? Yes, I guess you all must have been to fish market. If you have, then you might know why a very noisy place is sometimes called a fish market. Yes, fish market is a bit crowdy, and it's a very noisy place as well, where lots of people interact with each other and they buy fish. This fish market is busy today. Yes, it seems like if you look into this picture, it seems to be pretty busy. Many boats have brought a good catch. The fisherwomen are shouting out their price to buyers. So here we can see a fisherwoman as well, and she is telling her price. She is telling the price of fish. Okay. Many come here, take sardines at 40 rupees a kilogram. Okay. Gracie, never so cheap, gets swordfish for 60 kilogram. For rupees 60 a kilogram. Okay. So Gracie. Okay. Florama sells prawns for a price of 150 rupees a kilogram. Okay. Karuthamma sells a squid for 50 kilogram. 50 rupees a kilogram. Look, Fazila can hardly carry this big kingfish. She says this fish weighs 8 kilogram. I wish I will sell the whole for rupees 1200, or we can say 1200 rupees. Okay. Practice time. So here some important information is given to us, and by the help of this given information we have to solve this given question. Okay, and these three questions are practice questions. So let's have some practice. At what price per kilogram did Fazila sell the kingfish? Okay, so here Fazila can, here if we look, so here the main keyword is Fazila. So we should, here we can see lots of information is given to us, but we should be looking for Fazila. So we can say that Fazila is right here. Fazila can hardly carry this big kingfish. He says this fish weighs 8 kilogram. For 8 kilogram, the cost is a total of 1200 rupees. But here we need to calculate for per kilogram. Here the per kilogram means 1 kilogram. Okay. So we need to perform which operation for calculating 1 kilogram? It is going to be division. Okay. So, and we will be dividing which number by what? We will be dividing the total amount, which is 1200. We will be dividing 1200 by the total number of kilogram. And how many kilograms are there? There are a total of 8 kilogram. So therefore we will be dividing 1200 divided by 8. Okay. On doing so, we will get how much? We will get 150. So per kilogram of kingfish is going to be 150 rupees per kilogram. So we will be writing our answer in this ways. In this way, first we'll be writing rupees, which is RS. Then we will be writing 150 and then kilogram. Let me write it here so that it become clearly visible to you. Just wait a second. Okay, now I think it must be visible to you. So Fazila says kingfish at 150 rupees per kilogram. Okay, now let's solve for question number 2. Here we can see Florama has sold 10 kilogram prawns today. How much money did she get for that? So Florama has sold how many prawns? It is 10 kilogram. So let's see for Florama. Here we can see the given information for Florama, and here it is given Florama sells prawns for 150 rupees a kilogram. So it means that for 1 kilogram the amount is 150 kilogram, but we have to calculate for 10 kilogram. So for 1 kilogram it is 150, for 2 kilogram it is going to be 300. And how we got 200 rupees? We have multiplied it by 2. Suppose if the question would have said calculate it for 3 kilogram, then in that case we will be multiplying 150 by 3. For 4 kilogram we will be multiplying it by 4, and so on. But we have to calculate for 10 kilogram. So therefore we will be multiplying 10 kilogram, this 10 kilogram with this 150. So which operation we are using? We are using multiplication. So on multiplying 150 by 10, we will get how much? We will get 1500. Okay. So here our answer would be 1500. So what was the question? Here it says how much money did she get for that? She get how much? 1500 rupees. So our answer should be in this way. Rupees 1500. So this is our final answer for question number 2. Now let's solve for question number 3, which is the second last. Gracie sold 6 kilogram swordfish. Minnie has earned as much money as Gracie. How many kilogram of sardines did Minnie sell? Okay, so here we can see two information for Gracie as well as for Minnie. Let's first clear this whole thing so that it become clearly visible and understandable to us. So we need to focus on Minnie and Gracie. We need to focus on Minnie and Gracie. Gracie sold 6 kilogram swordfish. Okay, for 1 kilogram it is 60 kilogram. Okay, so for 6 kilogram, let's first calculate for 6 kilogram. Let's do it right here. Gracie sold how much? 6 kilogram, and for 1 kilogram it is for it is 60 rupees a kilogram. So for total of 6 kilogram, it is going to be 6 times 60, and it would be 360. Okay, so the total amount which Gracie has earned would be 360. Okay, now the next information is Minnie has earned as much money as Gracie. So Minnie has earned the same amount which Gracie has earned. So for Gracie, she has earned how much? 360 rupees. So it means that for sure Minnie would have earned the same amount. So let's write it for Minnie here. So Minnie amount is also going to be rupees 360. How many kilograms of sardines did Minnie sell? Minnie is selling sardines for 40 rupees a kilogram. So it means that 1 kilogram she is selling for 40 rupees. And she has earned a total of how much? 360 rupees. We need to calculate how much kilogram of sardines did she sell. Okay, so here also we can apply the concept of cross multiplication. Let's consider y. Okay, let's consider y kilogram for a moment. Okay, so here let's apply the concept of cross multiplication. We will be multiplying this 360 with this 1 and this y kilogram with this 40. On doing so, our calculation is going to look like in this way. 360 times 1 equals to y times 40. And on solving this equation, it's going to look like 360 equals to 40 y. So here we have to calculate the value of y. So y would become like, we will be dividing 360 by 40, and our answer would become 9. Okay, because 40 times 9 would be 360. So here our answer would be 9 kilogram. So we can say that Minnie has sold a total of 9 kilograms of sardines. Okay, in this way we can calculate such given questions. So we have successfully completed our question number 3 as well. Okay, and here comes our last question, which is question number 4. Bashir has 100 rupees. He spent 1/4 of the money on squid and another 3/4 on prawns. Okay, let's first understand this term 1/4. Bashir initially was having a total of 100 rupees. 1/4 of 100 is going to be 25. How we got this 25? Because when we say 1/4, so it means that we have to divide it by 4. So on dividing 100 by 4, 100 by 4 we get 25. So it means that Bashir spent how much? 25 rupees on squid. Okay, and another 3/4, it means that another 3/4 means the remaining one. So 3/4 of 100 is going to be 75. We can calculate 3/4 by multiplying 100 by 3/4. we can do in this way. So we will be dividing this 100 by this 4. On dividing, we get 25. And this resultant, which we are getting 25, on dividing 100 by 4, we will be multiplying 25 with this 3. And on doing so, we get how much? We will get 75. Okay. So Bashir spends 25 on squid and remaining 75 on prawns. How many kilograms of squid did he buy? So here, let's calculate the question. Let's first understand how much, what is the cost for squid. Okay. Here it says Karuthama sells a squid for 50 rupees a kilogram. Okay. So he spent how much? 25. So 25 is half of 50. Okay. So it means that Bashir buy how much? Half of kilogram, and half of kilogram is going to be 0.5. Okay. We know that for 1 kilogram the cost is how much? It is 50 rupees. But Bashir spent how much? He only spends 25 rupees. So it means that the amount is also going to be half of 1 kilogram. Half of 1 kilogram is going to be 0.5 kilogram. And in terms of fraction, we can write it in another way. We can write is the another way of writing. Let me tell you how do we write. We write it as 1/2, which look like in this way. 1, and in denominator we'll be writing 2, and we should be writing kilogram as well, which is kg. Okay. Similarly, let's calculate for how many kilograms of prawns did he buy. Okay. So he spends how much? He spent 25 rupees on prawns. Let's calculate what is the cost for prawn for a kilogram. It is 150 rupees for a kilogram. Okay. So here 1 kilogram of prawns cost 150 rupees. But he spent how much? He spent only 75 rupees. And this 75 is half of 150. So it means that the total quantity is also going to be half of 1 kilogram, which is going to be 0.5 kilogram. And in terms of fraction, it is going to be 1/2, same as our first question. So we can write 0.5 kilogram in this way as well. In terms of fraction, it would be 1/2. Okay. So he bought how much? Half kilogram of prawns by spending 75 rupees. Okay. So these are the things which we have learned today, and please don't forget to revise it. We will be continuing with this session in our next class. Okay, we'll be continuing with this topic in our next session. Okay. Okay,